All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, the praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. This is Brother Barbazal here with a lesson, and Lord willing, that's edifying. And this lesson will be entitled, There's No More Hope for This Place. All right, and we're going to get right into it. So this is the book of Micah 2:10. It says, Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. Yeah, Khan. So, what we're supposed to do is stay involved with, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, rather than, focusing on worldly affairs, right? Being involved with this world, trusting in this system. Because we understand that, this place has a time limit, a very short time limit. That's why this man Esau is moving with this great wrath. Currently, this man is being exposed for being the devil, for being who he truly is. The ones that's in power, getting exposed through these different Epstein files and this, that, and the third, which, that's pretty much came out. And you don't really see people in that, outrage like that. People are pretty docile over, those that's in power, doing what they doing to, being the pedos and, cannibalism and, be involved in all, manners of wickedness. You don't really see the people, really going against that. Including these different Israelite camps. But what you have been seeing is, the people coming against, the Hebrew Israelites, which we are against this kingdom, preaching the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And, our people, what do they call us? Hate group. We preaching hate, saying that we going off, saying that, slandering us. Calling us grapists, saying, all the stuff that they say, accuse us of, that's what this devil is really doing. All the wickedness. You see? I'm read that again. Micah 2:10, it says, Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And that's it. You having, care for this life, you invested in this world, carnally. All that's going to lead to is your destruction. We're supposed to hate our lives in this kingdom, willing to lose our lives for the sake of, being in the truth, right? For Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man, Get my next precept. So this is Matthew 6:20. It says, 19. It says, Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. So you got to be able to see the bigger picture, man. Jake is too. They can't see past Babylon. It's all about, getting the bag and coming up on this side. Got different groups saying they want to buy land and, make a black America, this, that, and the third, which, you can't prosper, while you in this captivity, especially as a Israelite. This devil is not going to allow that. We understand that all this devil wants to do is push forth his NWO. And, you different Israelites, establishing, some type of kingdom, some type of power on this side isn't a part of those plans. It's to get everybody, C-hipped, getting everybody to take the MOTB, being completely controlled, completely surveilled throughout at all times, man. That's what this devil is looking to do. And we understand also that, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, is making his return very soon. That's why we're not getting too comfortable. We're not doing anything, making any big investments, having so much hope on this side, focusing on, our jobs and, different things that'll take us away from this truth. You see? It's the book of Matthew 6:20. It says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. So you're supposed to be setting up that spiritual bank account, right? Setting up that those spiritual investments, which go into what? Going out to the highways and hedges, preaching this word, doing the videos, repentance. And also going through, the bitterness of this truth, right? Going through the different, enduring, having to suffer doing this thing, man. Because we also got to understand that us even being able to, come back to the Lord, was mercy from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? Due to us going off, we're currently in our punishment and captivity. So in order to come back to the Lord, a part of that repentance is, going through what we got to go through on this side, which is not to flourish, not to have these big names, with the world, being celebrities, being millionaires, whatever the case may be. Our purpose is to push this word, and Lord's will, through our works and our faith, we can receive that salvation. All right. Verse 21, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So, we supposed to be focused, keep our eyes on the prize, man. Right? Walk through that straight gate, right? The scriptures go into, the straight gate. Actually, let's get that real quick. This book of Matthew 7:13, it says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. So we understand that the Lord is only dealing with a remnant. He's not dealing with, what everybody else is doing, all right, what the masses of people are doing. He's only dealing with a remnant that's going to be doing the right thing. And as a result of, or that remnant, what's going to happen with that remnant is, these people, the remnant's going to be scoffed against, slandered against, hated, right? As Yahushua was, Matthew 7:13 again, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. That's why we got to be cautious in this walk, because we understand that, being carnal, doing what everybody else want to do, clinging on to the flesh, those are the type of things that'll get you destroyed. Verse 14, it says, but straight, because straight is the gate, narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So there you go. Scriptures go into many are called, but few are chosen. So it's only going to be a few that's walking through that straight gate. That's why we not concerned about, numbers, having all these people like us, trimming our way, to seek love from these different people, trying to be politically correct and, sugarcoating things. That's why we don't give a damn about none of that, man, because this thing is about the elect. All right. So this is the book of 2 Peter 3:10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So that's the That's the end goal with this place, it being destroyed. That's the end result. That's why it's no hope in this place. You see? Because the Lord said he's going to destroy it. All right. It says the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. All the skyscrapers, all these different monuments, these different cars, mansions, all the works that are therein shall be burned up. So anything that you've done in this place, anything, any worldly accomplishments that you have, it really don't matter, because it's all going to be burnt up anyway. You see? That's why it's best to just focus on the truth and worry about, the spiritual riches, which all that will come in the kingdom. Anything that we lose on this side, we're going to get 100-fold in the kingdom. You see? Verse 11, seeing that then all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens, being on fire, shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So we're looking and hastening to the coming of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Not looking to build up a community, not looking to thrive on this side, not looking to have this great career on this side. None of that is over this truth. And all of that is a part of the sacrifices we got to make. You see? But we understand that, it's all going to be worth it. And the Lord has shown us, that put the spirit on us, to understand that, this place ain't our rest. This place ain't the end all be all. We're us being the watchmen, watching for the signs of the Lord. And we can clearly see that this place is through. The wicked being revealed, right? Iran coming, saying that they're going to do this and that to the U.S., right? Going into those rumors of wars. The least of the flock, drawing them out, going into the small hat. Nobody liking the small hat. You see? And not to mention, right, everything is going digital. The economy, nobody can afford anything anymore. So we're definitely coming into the day of the Lord, right? Jacob's trouble, which we currently are in Jacob's trouble. It just has to intensify. Once all hell, really breaks loose. You see? But throughout all that, the Lord is going to keep the elect. There may be martyrs, right? But, it's going to be an honorable death. And they're going to be still going to be those first fruits in the kingdom. But the majority, we believe that the majority will be preserved, will be kept. There will be a standard lifted, divine intervention, spiritual power. There's going to be an elect that's beamed up into the chariots, changed immediately into those perfect bodies. And that's what we hasten in. That's what we want. We don't want to be millionaires on this side because we know what comes with that. You see? But that'll do it with the lesson. And Lord willing, it was edifying. So with that, I'd like to give all the honor and praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Shalom.